Okay, Devin Haney defeats George Kambosos via unanimous decision to retain his undisputed lightweight belts, and pretty much similar to the first fight. The only difference I would say is that this time Haney was a bit more aggressive. He was shooting our right hand a lot more and was just more aggressive in there. A little bit like what I kind of wanted him to do in the when I did my preview. I said that I wanted him. I think Haney skill wise is a better fighter than Kambosos, so I just wanted him to just inflict a bit more damage on him. I think he's a great boxer, Haney, but sometimes you want to see that aggression a bit more, and I think we got it in this fight. To be honest, I think initially Kambosos was doing a very good job. I think actually switching stances in the first round, and I actually gave the first round to Kambosos, but I think there came a point where he was almost being too predictable with his switch hitting, and being a switch hitter is good, but there are some fighters who are very good at being unpredictable with it, and he somehow was predictable with it. There was basic patterns that he kept doing it with Haney. Eventually, he kind of picked up on the timing of it and was constantly landing the jab, the right hand. The jab and right hand especially were landing consistently, and Haney's not a powerful puncher, so he didn't really block him at any points, but you could just see they were doing damage, and Kambosos' face was a mess after it. Looked very, very like he really was in a fight and got beat up. And again, Kambosos is a good fighter. I said this before. He's not a terrible fighter, but I just felt like that Teofimo fight almost boosted him to a level which I don't think he ever, personally, I don't think he was ever at. And don't get me wrong, he's still a brilliant fighter and will come back. But I just think it was. I would have just rather seen for the undisputed Teofimo and Devin Haney, to be honest, because I think that fight had a lot more bad blood in it. I think skill wise, you had a massive power puncher against a brilliant boxer. I would have preferred that, but not complaining. Kambosos was the right for winning the Teofimo fight and was the champion. And again, this time he put on a lot more heart. He was a bit more aggressive in there, which I wanted to see. He was cutting off the ring quite well as well. And but yeah, again, just not enough. I think he kind of it just didn't really go for him. He just couldn't compete with Devin Haney. And again, you look at the scorecard. So first, I'll go for the official scorecard. So the official scorecards for the fight, if I can get them up. Right. So the scorecards read 119 to 109, 118 to 110, and 118 to 110. So pretty wide scorecards, and I had it exactly the same. Pretty much, I had it 118, 110. I had the first round to Kambosos, and then I had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all to Haney, and then I had round 11 I had to Kambosos, and round 10 I had to Haney. So, like I said, I gave Kambosos 2 rounds in this one. Which, if I go back actually to the first fight, I think I had it pretty similar, to be honest with you, but maybe wrong about it. The first fight I gave Kambosos I gave him 1 round, so it's a little bit of an improvement. I gave him 2 rounds this time. Again, he's not a bad fight, Kambosos. I said it before. He's definitely got something about him, but I think the stars just aligned for him perfectly in that Teofimo fight. I think the level, you could just see Haney was just much better than him, and Haney's only 23 and he's improving rapidly. So I think it's be interesting to see how he does now and where he goes from here. In the lightweight division, it seems like Ryan Garcia and Tank are always rumoured to be getting it on, and that is sort of the big money fight in the division. But for Haney, if you don't fight one of them, I'd love to see him fight a Lomachenko. And I would really love to see him fight Shakur Stevenson, because obviously he's moving up. But I don't know. There's a lot of big fights for Haney in the division. He also looks very, very weight drained, I would say, at the weigh-ins, though, of the fight. He looked very, very... he looked like a skeleton at times. Obviously, in the fight, they look a lot more healthy, but he looks like he's killing himself. He's very, very big at the weight, Haney, and it's a story for quite a few guys. It was a story for Teofimo, that's why he's now at 140. I think for Ryan Garcia, he makes the weight pretty well. He didn't seem to struggle that much. Same for Tank. Tank kind of dabbles in the weight divisions. For Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko, this is probably his limit. I can't really see him going up to like a 140, to be honest. I think lightweight is the perfect one for him. And we'll see how Shakur Stevenson does, how he adjusts to the weight again. Lightweight's a funny one, because you do get this is where you kind of see the power punches emerging. Don't get me wrong, at lower weights you have some good punches. Obviously, Inoue is the one that I really looks at, but you don't really get guys with thunderous knockout power. Once you enter lightweight, I think you start to see it more. And I think again, like I said, it's my favorite division in boxing, and I think you've got a great champion, Devin Haney, and excited to see what he does next. Like I said, I think Lomachenko would be the one I would want if he couldn't get the Garcia or Tank. If I had any option, I probably would want to see him against Tank. I personally would still favour Tank in that one, as good as Haney is, but I just think that Tank is just that little bit more in him. But I think Haney beats majority. Him against Shakur would be a real interesting fight, to be honest. But I don't know whether that will happen straight away. But either way, a great win though from Haney, and he continues his rise in this in the division and in the sport. Undisputed, got his first title defense as the undisputed champion, and again just continues to grow, continues to get better, and yeah, pretty light work, to be honest. I never really felt like he was in trouble. Kambosos won the first round, like I said. I thought he did good, but I just didn't think there was enough really throughout the fight that really caused Haney some problems. And Kambosos did show that his hand speed was on display, but again, it just wasn't enough. And I think same as the first fight, I do think Kambosos was trying, but I just don't think he really was able. I don't think he was. I don't want to say he wasn't good enough, because he's a good fighter, but he just wasn't on that level of Haney. And I think he also just couldn't really. He never really gauged the distance correct. I think again him constantly going from southpaw to orthodox, he never again gauged the distance well. And there was a few times where he would switch and his feet would get tangled, where Haney would land a few shots on him, and his chin was wide open. So again, little things that I think Kambosos could improve on, but he's still there. But I just don't think there's a level. The fighters at lightweight are Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. It was Teofimo up until he went up. Ryan Garcia, Tank. You got Lomachenko in that class. He's not considered to be because he's a bit older than those guys, but he's still up there. And you will, I think, eventually, and soon you'll see Shakur Stevenson in that class. So there's a level at that weight where I just don't think that many of these other guys can compete. And I think Kambosos is just a level below those guys. But maybe, and for Kambosos, maybe like a Richard Comey or something next, I think would be a real interesting fight. There's a few fights out there for Kambosos still, but yeah, I think you just need to rebuild now. There was some people talking about him maybe retiring, but I don't think that will happen. I think I could be wrong, but I still think he will. Still think he'll stick around. I think if you can build yourself up, I don't personally ever want to see these two fight again, because you saw how I don't want to say easy, but how comfortable it was for Devin Haney in there. And I think next fight you really want to see Devin Haney push. Devin Haney, up until this point, the only man who really, he's been hit a few times and looked vulnerable, but the only guy who really ever really tested him was Linares, who rocked him in their fight. But other than that, nobody's really giving him that kind of problems, and I think I want to see him up against a power puncher. That's why I say I want to see him versus Tank next, but we'll see what happens. But just my quick review though of the Devin Haney and George Kambosos fight. Brilliant win from Haney. We've got 2 wins now in Australia. Now need to get them bounced back to the US, and I think Vegas, Madison Square Garden, wherever, I think would be a good place for Haney to defend his belts. It was a joke, in my opinion, that he had to go out there for the second fight. First fight makes sense, but the second fight, he's the undisputed champion. He should choose where it is, but money rules all in boxing. But yeah, like I said, just my quick review of the fight though, and yeah, until next time.